Hi, guys.
Hey, guys.
Welcome back on Four Towers Films.
And I'm Doug218.
Welcome back. We are recapping MasterChef Legend Season 18, Episode number 9.
And our guest legend this week is the street food king himself, Roy Choi. And it's taken them, as Aaron said, 10 years to get him on the show.
Right.
And Roy kind of goes, I'm kind of shy, So it's a street food challenge. It's a street food inspired challenge, actually.
Right.
So Gordon then lays it out for them. There's only one safety spot.
Yeah.
Just one.
And everybody else will have to cook.
Everyone else will have to cook the next week. And the winner of that safety spot also gets a dinner for two at Roy Choi's restaurant. And I thought this was the coolest name for a restaurant in Vegas. Best Friend.
Yeah.
So it's, as always, it's a 60-minute challenge. Gordon says your 60 minutes starts, and Roy goes, now.
Right.
So we get a preemptive from Amber, and she says she's prepping a deconstructed lobster roll. I love it. This girl cannot stand seafood whatsoever.
No.
And she's got her hands in it all the time. Lexi is doing her take on a Philly cheesesteak. She also says, we don't have a lot of money, but I go to this area where we're from, and I really love it. So it's I'm going to do my interpretation.
I know she says that every week.
It's like her mantra.
We don't have a lot of money, but we either don't have a lot of I think it goes for confidence level.
And that's going to come out later on in this episode. Michael, he says, I'm going to make something that I loved before I went vegan. And it's fish tacos. Mm-hmm. So we get off and running. Gordon and Roy are the first ones to make a walk around. So they stop at Kelsey's station, and Kelsey says she's doing her take on a dessert she had when she was in Vegas a long time ago. As she said, before kids. It was a strawberry shortcake bar.
Right.
And they're no ice cream? It's because it was an ice cream bar that tasted like a strawberry shortcake. Oh. And they're okay, if you're not doing that, your room for error is like this. And she's going, I promise you the flavors will be there. Don't worry, I'm going to get it done. And they're okay, good luck. Then they move around and talk to Alejandro. This guy, the perennial bottom three, forever.
Yeah, past few weeks.
And Gordon and Roy are standing there, and Gordon says, what can we do for you to get you to elevate? Because we all say you move like a chef.
Right.
And he goes, well, if you see me going nuts, tell me to stop. So, okay, I was even confused when I heard this. He's doing a poutine type potato dish with potato done two ways.
But it's not poutine. How he described it.
And Gordon said, when two trained chefs are looking at him and I didn't feel so bad because I'm okay, I'm not trained, and even that didn't make sense.
Well, because even Joe said poutine is fries, cheese curds, and gravy. He's disgusting, not a poutine.
So as Gordon and Roy are talking with the chefs, Joe and Aaron talk to Anne. Now she's doing her take on a shrimp spring roll, and her dream, which is funny, is to have a food truck in Kalamazoo. She's all our food trucks, they have burgers and this and that. I want to bring something different. I really love this kind of cuisine. And Joe's so, if you win this would be pretty big for you. And she's yes. And so she's doing a shrimp spring roll with rice noodles. Then Aaron is talking with Sue. Now, every week we've seen Sue. I've kind of liked her more and more. She's like just this little cute thing behind the counter, you know. If you don't really look hard, if you don't look hard, you might not see her because she's so,
right,
you know. And she says, Aaron asks her what she's doing. She's doing a steak, kebab style.
Mm-hmm.
And like Joe's like, okay, kebab style. How are you going to make this different? She goes, I'm going to hit every flavor from first bite to last bite. And Ron says to her, do you think you'll win the immunity? And she goes, I'm going to be first up front and first upstairs.
Right.
And Aaron's like, yes, I like that. That shows her confidence is increasing.
Right.
As this goes on. So then we get back to Gordon and Roy, and they're talking with Joseph. Joseph last week, he dodged a bullet when Tay went home.
Right.
And Gordon told him that.
Yeah, and that was, if you remember, that was just on the technicality.
Straight technicality.
Mm-hmm.
So he is making a grilled pork and doing it in a Vietnamese sandwich called a binh mi. I hope I pronounced that correct. Please let me know. And Gordon says, you know, like Joseph last week, he was on the verge of leaving the competition. This is his redemption. And then we get the vignette of him talking to the camera. And he's like, oh, I love street food. I'm a street food connoisseur. I can tell you where the best trucks are to the worst trucks in my neighborhood. So after that, we get Joe and Aaron talking with Autumn, and she's doing a lobster roll. And Joe's like, you know, you're in a very good place to win this. Like, Joe hasn't really had anything really negative to say about Autumn's cooking through most of this competition.
No.
So everyone's clicking along, and at the 30-minute mark, Kelsey looks in her pot. She's, beep. She realizes at the 30-minute mark, she's burnt the caramel that she needs for her dessert.
She has to start over.
She has to start over. So, well, this is going on. She's running out, getting a new pot, start the whole thing over again. Gordon and Roy are talking with Abe. He's making a dish that's very popular in Romania. It's like a street food called nisi with brioche and coleslaw. And I got to giggle at this next part. Joe and Aaron go over to Michael. Now, you know, Michael's like the sex therapist for couples. And he goes, I'm making a sexy fish taco with a sexy slaw and
how sexy.
And Joe's like, okay, you know, like.
And I think fish taco said, oh, I think sexy.
I think
why either
smelly. And he's going, you know, well, I gotta bring, you know, I've got to up my game a little bit. You know, I've kind of been floating in the middle of the pack, so I need to really go with it. So Gordon and Roy are talking to Lexi, and she's like, she's doing her, she's making her Philly cheesesteak, and she's telling them about it. Roy kind of leans over, starts stirring the pot. He's like, this is a little thin. It looked like soup, not even thick soup. Like there was no back coat on the spoon whatsoever. So
kind of like a consomme.
She goes, oh, geez, now I've got to really work this. So they're working, they're cooking. At the 5-minute mark, Lexi checks her cheese sauce.
Now it's too thick.
It's like wallpaper based. Like she's literally getting the cheese.
It looks like a cheese pull.
Like literally, it was the ultimate cheese pull. Like, and they're like
that does not look like a sauce.
And you could hear it from the podium, like, oh. So they get a 2-minute warning.
He's trying to adjust it.
A 2-minute warning. Alejandro goes, "Oh, geez, I need acid for this dish." He takes off, running to the pantry. And Roy's like, "What's he doing? He's leaving his station. Now I'm worried, So he comes back. He does what he needs to, puts it to the dish. Clock kicks down. Hands up. So now they said because there's no elimination on the line, everyone's getting tasted.
Right. At least not this week.
This week. So the first one to come up is Kelsey. And she did a white chocolate and buttermilk cake with strawberry coulis, whipped cream, and pistachio brittle. Now, she got positive comments all around, just minor things that she would need to tweak, like maybe the layers, maybe add a little more of the sauce, all minor little details.
Right.
So she kind of smiles and she's like, okay. Lexi gets called up next. She does a New York strip cheesesteak. Cheesesteak
would be good too.
New York style cheesecake. Yeah, but no, it's steak. And with bell peppers, onions, mushrooms, cheese sauce, and a Parmesan tuile.
Right.
Now, they all said, the sauce was great.
But before they even tasted it, she was running it down.
She's like, I'm not very proud of this dish. And well, Roy's like, yo, listen. I've seen many a dish like this in many steak places.
Yeah.
So be confident in what you put out.
Yeah.
So everyone thought she did a great cook on steak.
Yep.
She hit she said medium rare. Gordon sliced into that, and that sucker was medium rare. Perfect cook.
They like the tuile.
They love the tuile. And Roy was like, "Do you sell those by the bag? Because I would buy those." He goes, "I loved it."
Really, the only criticism was the sauce.
Was the sauce.
A bit lumpy.
As Joe's like, why's the sauce lumpy? She's like, well, the cheese didn't melt all the way. So it was that was basically the minor complaint they had was for cheese sauce. Everything else they loved. Mm-hmm. So next one up is Ann. She does a shrimp spring roll with fried rice noodle. They start. Joe picks up some of the rice noodle and he bites. He bites. And then he looks at her like, "Did you taste this?"
She said she did.
He goes, "Was it like a Brillo pad when you ate it?" So she's like,
"You said it was like unedible." It
was unedible. And everyone else in the back is like, ooh, ooh, ooh. And but she took the negative criticism on the chin. She took it well. They said the shrimp was good. The cook on the shrimp was good. The sauce was good. But the rice noodles, yeah. So Alejandro, he did a loaded fry with steak and eggs with hollandaise with truffle slices. Now, Roy and Gordon, when they first talked to him, thought this wasn't going to work because he kind of put this image of poutine in their heads.
Yeah, right. Well, that's what he called it.
That's what he called it.
He called it poutine.
So when
it didn't look anything like poutine.
When he presented it, like even Roy said, I had this stuck in my head.
Poutine.
A poutine, and I didn't think this would work, but you made it work.
Yeah, but it wasn't poutine. It wasn't called it that.
But everyone said he's finally arrived. This was his best plate to date.
Yeah.
Alejandro, take this to note. Listen to what the four gentlemen just told you.
Right.
So Autumn is next. She does a tarragon poached lobster roll with celery root puree, pearl onions, and lemon zest croutons. That sounded really good.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
she doesn't like seafood.
Like we said, this girl has done more seafood dishes in this competition.
Someone who doesn't like seafood.
The only complaint they had was it was a touch undercooked.
Yeah.
But they said, other than that, it was perfect. You know, another excellent outing for her.
Yeah.
So Abe is next. He did the misi from Romania with lamb, beef, and pork with brioche and slaw and coleslaw. He got a positive comment. And, well, Roy kind of said the only problem I had was it was so dense. Mm-hmm. You know, lamb, beef, and pork.
Yeah.
But because it was so clean and you knew what everything would be, it wouldn't taste like. They said maybe a little more sauce. So far, a lot of this has been like minor little tweaks to stuff.
Yeah. Well, you're down to like top 9, so.
Okay. So one of my favorite little people, Sue, is next, and she does a New York strip kebab with pan-seared veg and mint cucumber chutney. So they're like, okay, when you do a kebab seasoning, usually you have to cook off the spices, let them marinate. But how she did it, and because of the cook, it really enhanced the spice flavor. And they said it was a really beautiful dish for her.
Right.
So Michael's fish taco. Now, they had comments about it when they were on the podium because it was a big hunk of fish, right. Like huge, and he breaded it in panko, deep fried it, and they were saying, you know, if you were going to do it, it would be much kind of thinner because something that big, it would be clunky in street food.
Especially in the taco.
And it was with a lump crab hash and a spicy slaw. First thing out of Gordon's mouth when he cut into it, he goes, I hope you took the skin off. And Michael, he goes, no, and I'll tell you why. He goes, when I used to do this with my father,
right,
we would deep fry it with the skin on. And Gordon's like, okay, that's fine. But you need to understand that if you keep the skin on, it traps moisture. So everything else is crispy. This bottom is soggy.
Yeah.
And they said everything, you know, but the cook on the fish was perfect except this bottom side.
Right.
Then we get to Joseph, our redemption man this week. He did a pork chop banh mi with pickled celery, fried onions, and cilantro jalapeno aioli. Everyone dug in. Roy said it was perfect. And, you know, the flavors took me where I needed to go. Gordon said maybe add, you know, maybe some more cabbage, something else to kind of cut that. And Joe gave him I think the best comment I've seen and heard so far. He goes, this is a very clean dish. He goes, you don't hear it often in this show or in this competition or from me, but this is a very clean dish.
Yeah. Good
job. So judges say, okay, we really need to talk. And when they come back, they say, okay, the top 3 that really were fantastic: Kelsey, Joseph, Lexi. And Lexi looked shocked. Lexi looked shocked. And Gordon says the winner of this fabulous prize And the only one to get safety next week is Joseph.
Because he was really the only one out of the top three that really there was nothing that they nitpicked about it at all.
Because he went with what he knew.
Yeah.
And so and they asked him, how do you feel about this? He's like, I'm fine.
Oh, well, yeah.
You're
safe.
I'm safe.
And you got a nice prize.
Yeah, wonderful dinner for two. Who wouldn't be happy? So it looks like next week is going to be the first.
It's the It's like the elimination
test.
Yeah.
The Gordon put it, the dreaded black apron.
Right. And everybody who wants to safe has to do black apron next week.
And it is you have to cook a dish inspired by a legend in your life. Right.
So we're not actually having a legend come in next week that we know of. It will be whoever they inspired them.
Yeah. So in the vignette at the end of the episode, you saw Sue say the legend in her life was her grandmother. Alejandro's like Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
Exactly.
That's what he picks.
That's what I'm thinking. So
considering it's Gordon who'll be judging it, so that'll be interesting.
And that he probably would be the harshest critic as well.
Oh yeah, it's his dish. Well, it's something inspired by him.
So what do you think of the episode?
It was good, because you don't actually get to see a lot of street food.
No.
That they do. I mean, because it's usually like Italian, they do a lot, like pastas, or they haven't done French a lot either, but and they do a lot of baking, like the desserts and stuff. Yeah. So they don't actually really, I think this has to be one of the first time they've done street food. Yeah. And like they actually talked about with Roy, his kind of journey, how he even got there, and and like you said, it's true. Restaurants are one of the hardest businesses to really get off the ground and keep off the ground. And in a sense, what he's saying is a food truck might be even harder because, a lot of cities have them kind of lined up near each other. And if they don't, you have to get them in like the first bite.
And if you don't,
they can just like walk down to the next food truck right beside them or down the street kind of thing. So it seems like it could be a simple challenge because it's less, say, 5-star kind of food.
Yeah.
But simple food, and Gordon has said this more than once, simple food can actually be harder to do.
Oh, for sure.
Because it's simple.
Yeah.
So you can't get anything wrong because you really will notice it more so than you have like 5-course meal kind of thing.
Course.
So it was interesting to see them do something a little different this time with the food truck type food. So it was interesting to see that. And it was interesting to hear Roy's story of how he started even.
Well, yeah, that's really kind of what resonated with me, that he was a chef. He got fired, couldn't find work. His partner and him worked at a place, and the owner gave him a truck for free.
Right. But it was a dealer, I think, gave him a truck.
But told him, you've got 3 months to make it.
To make it a success, or you have to get the truck back.
And apparently he made it a success.
And now he has his own restaurant. So
and so it's kind of neat to hear those kind of stories, to know that we see a certain aspect of their life, but they struggle just like we do. And
well, that's why I liked even with I forget what her name was, one of the last legends that came on. And she was even saying that, like, when some of them are so tough on themselves, and they're like, all of us have had failures.
Yes.
All of us standing here have had failures. They didn't get this successful by getting everything right. And they still have failures. So that's just how it is. The difference being they didn't give up.
Yeah.
They kept persisting at it. And he's, again, I mean,
he persisted.
Got fired. And that's what was good for them to hear, is that they didn't just automatically become successful. They had failures too, and got fired from a job, and then just worked and made it a success. So that's what's good to hear. And
it was a great episode, and Roy was amazed at the level of talent. As you said, they're not trained.
No, they're home chefs.
They're home cooks.
Yeah.
And to see this level of skill at their level, like he even said, I learned something from you guys.
Right, yes.
And when you can take a culinary legend and teach them something,
right,
you're doing something right.
Well, and then you talk about ones like Gordon and our own and Joe, who are really well known and have Michelin stars and everything else. And they're saying the dishes that you're presenting to them, they could be on the menu of their own restaurants. I mean, that's something that's pretty special.
Of course.
So it shows you the talent level. That's here.
I'm interested to see what this elimination challenge will be like.
It'll be interesting. And to see who everybody picked as a legend in their life.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining me. It was another good episode.
Thank you for having me, and it was good to do it.
And thank you so much for joining us. We hope you enjoyed the episode. If you get the chance to check it out, please do. It was really good. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already.
And hit
the notification bell so you know when we go live every Sunday for MasterChef Legends, season number 18. And we will see you guys next week.
Bye, guys. Have a great week.
Bye.